Gathering begins, he announced. We worship the object, he said, gesturing towards the stage and bowing. The entire audience bowed respectfully toward the little cross construction of wood. I present the Council of Guardians, he said, next, and nodded to the row of men, which included Jameson. As a group, they stood. For a nervous moment, Kira couldn't remember if the spectators were supposed to applaud, but a hush had fallen, and the crowd was silent, though some heads seemed to nod forward the Council of Guardians of respect. For the first time, I present the Carver of the future. He gestured toward Thomas, who looked uncertain. Stand, Kira whispered under her breath. Intuitively, that it was the proper thing to do. Thomas stood awkwardly, shifting from one foot to another. Again, heads nodded in respect. He sat back down. She knew that she would be next, and she reached for a stick, which was leaning against a chair. For the first time, I present the rope threader, the designer of the future. Kira stood as straight as she could, and acknowledged the nods in her direction. She sat again. For the first time, I present the singer of the future. One day she will wear the robe. The eyes of the villagers all turned to the side of the door, which had opened. Kira could see two tenders push Joe forward, pointing to an occupied chair. The tyke, dressed in a new but simple and unadorned gown, looked confused and uncertain, but her eyes found Kira, and Kira's beckoning to her, smiling. Joe grinned and hurried forward to her chair. Kira whispered. I grinned, with one foot nervously rubbing the ankle of the other. The singer of the future stood and faced the crowd. Her smile, hesitant at first, quickly became both self-confident and infectious. Kira could see that the people smiling in the back. Now you wait. Now you wait, Kira whispered. Wait, Joe whispered back. She raised one hand and waggled her finger at the audience. A ripple of gentle laughter ran through the crowd. Joe turned and hoisted her small self, knees first onto the chair. A little wavy, she added to Kira. Finally, I present our singer, who wears the robe, the chief guardian announced when the people had quieted. The singer, wearing the magnificent robe and holding the carved staff in his right hand, entered from the other side. The crowd gasped collectively. Of course they saw him in the robe each year, but this year was different because of the work that Kira had done on the ancient embroidery. As the singer moved towards the stage, the folds of the robe glistened in the torchlight. The colors of the threaded scenes glowed in subtlety. Golds, light yellows, deepening up to vibrant oranges, reds from the palettes to pink to the darkest crimsons, greens, all shades threaded in their intricate patterns. The history of the world and its ruin. As she turned to mount those few stairs to the stage, Kira could see the broad, blank expanse across the singer's back and the shoulders, the blank that she had to fill, the future that she had been chosen to create. Is Thomas murmured. Kira had been distracted by her awareness and appreciation of the robe and all it meant. As she heard it too, a dull, intermittent metallic noise, cluttered clank, clank, clank. I was gone. There she heard it again. A scrappy clank. Though she whispered back. The singer turned at the center of the stage after bowing slightly to the worship object and faced the audience. Fingering the staff like a talisman did not need its guidance yet. His face was impressive and emotionless. Passive. Then he closed his eyes and began to breathe deeply. The mysterious sound had disappeared. Kira listened carefully. The muted scrap had subsided. Looking at Thomas, she shrugged and settled back to listen. She glanced at Joe, who could see that the tyke's eyes were closed too, and she was forming the first words silently in her mouth. The singer held up one arm, and Kira, from her knowledge of the robe, knew that he was displaying the sleeve at the scene of the world's origin, the separation of land and sea, an emergence of fish and birds, all of its tiny stitches around the water, birds, all of it in the tiniest inches across the border of the left sleeve. Aloft now with his arm outstretched, he could feel that the odd admiration of the audience as they saw the robe displayed for the first time in a year. She felt pride in her work that she had done. He started in it a young, strong, rich baritone voice. No melody yet, really. Started in a strong, rich baritone voice. No melody yet, really. The song began with a chant. Gradually, melodies would enter. Kira recalled some slow, soaring lyrical phase, followed by other harsher phrases with a quick, pulsating heat that emerged slowly, and the world had. Song, be- song began the origin of Brawl so many centuries before. Beginning. Thomas nudged her and gestured with his head. Kira glanced over and responded to Joe. Joe was so eager and swarming earlier, now sound asleep in the big chair. It was late morning, the song had continued for several hours. Probably many of the tykes in the large wall were dozing, as was Joe. That morning, and the song continued for several hours. Probably many of the tykes in the large hall were dozing, as Joe was. Kira was supposed to not be bored and drowsy herself. For her, the small voice. But she remained attentive. Occasionally, her mind wandered to her own work that loomed ahead. Now the old diarist threads were almost gone. The woman herself was gone too. Kara found herself desperate, hoping that she could be able to remember and create all the Buddhas.